Okay, for the semester timeline project, the title of my project is Clay, Pottery, and Art. Throughout time, clay, pottery, and art have all changed. Some aspects that have changed about clay, pottery, and art are how they are created and what they are used for. The most significant change in each of these are how they are used today. I believe this is the most significant change because different forms of art that are created today represent different things. How art is created is also different today. I think these changes help me understand the history of art because it means that clay symbolized different things in another time than from what they mean now. This is relevant to art today because it shows how we have developed into a more advanced and civilized society artistically. This is the timeline that I created. It shows the basic points that I talk about throughout my presentation and how things have changed over time. Clay is an earthy material that is loose and soft. It contains grain-sized particles and is created as a result from the erosion and weathering of rocks containing the mineral feldspar. Clay was known to be first made between 6000 and 8000 BC. The first people to start using clay to create ceramic pottery were in Eastern Asia around 14,000 BC. Pottery is known to be the first ever synthetic material created by humans, and there are a few theories on how clay pottery was created. The earliest pottery was produced by open firing techniques with temperatures ranging from 600 to about 800 to 900 degrees Celsius. Different temperatures would affect the result of pottery. One theory on the creation of pottery was that it could be made by wrapping clay around a basket. Others think early pottery was made by pushing a hole into a ball of clay. Another strategy was making a long snake of clay and coiling it up into a pot shape. The creation of clay pottery was spread around different parts of the world and was created in different ways. This chart represents the different temperatures for the different types of clay minerals and what you would fire them at to create them. Egyptians would place their pots on kilns for firing. They were lined with an insulation brick made of a mixture from straw and clay that was dried in the sun. Ancient Egyptians later used finer clay with a higher quartz amount for their fragile pottery. To give the pottery a dull sheen, they would rub pieces together with a smooth stone or coat them with a thin layer of a different colored clay. Ancient Greek vases were decorated with stories of gods, goddesses, heroes, and pictures of people's daily lives. This made them become highly valued for their decoration and they were desirable. German potters created items such as stoneware. This type of pottery was fired at higher temperatures and made from finer clays. China started to create porcelain. Because there were different techniques used to create pottery, there were also different purposes for it. Some of the uses for clay pottery were preserving fish, creating pots, creating dishes, creating baths, and constructing social identities. Another use for clay was for ceremonial purposes. Venus of Vestinice was thought to be created around 24,000 BCE and is the oldest clay figure to date. It was discovered in Czech Republic. It is made from ceramic and is about 4.4 inches tall. Women were recreated through different types of artwork and were portrayed in similar ways: large breasts, large belly, large hips, and detailed genitalia. This might have been done for ceremonial purposes or to help explain the complicated process of childbirth women go through. One carving that is similar to the Venus of Vestinice is the Willendorf of Venus. One of the most famous prehistoric carvings is the Willendorf of Venus, which is similar to the Venus of Vestinice. It was thought to be created around 30,000 BC and was discovered in 1908 in Willendorf, Lower Austria. Willendorf of Venus was carved from limestone and originally colored with red. It is about 4.4 inches tall with large breasts, large belly, large hips, and detailed genitals. Again, it is thought to have these features for ceremonial purposes or to represent womanhood and childbirth. So these are the two sculptures that I just talked about, and you can see how they're similar to each other. Egyptian carvings were also discovered and created around the Amarna period. These carvings were considered to be significant artistic developments. Significant artistic developments and intellectual activities were important to the rise of civilization. Different types of people around the world who were developing civilizations needed art in order to become more civilized. Art helped them to become civilized because what they created would give them a social identity. People had become more advanced artistically and began to recreate other things rather than clay pots, small sculptures, or dishes. Some of the newly advanced art also had different meanings. The Palace of Knossos Mionin is an architectural development. This was created around 1700 to 1400 BC. This building is about 4,000 years old. There were also other impressive buildings and art being created around this time period. There was an artistic representation of the procession from the ancient Mesopotamia, recreated from around 2600 BC. There were also different things represented through ancient art. Greek pottery usually had some type of sex act within the art. Mayan art usually had some type of chocolate with it. Chocolate was very valuable to the Mayan civilization, but it was not available to everyone. Only certain people had access to chocolate. Maiolica is another form of pottery. It is Italian and made from tin-glazed earthenware. This form of pottery was popular from the 1400s to the 1600s. This is a deep dish made in 1430. It is made from a tin-glazed earthenware and is a type of ceramic. This craft was thought to be made in either Meneses, Valencia, or Spain because it comes from Spanish culture. Today, there are many different uses for clay. We use clay as building material to form brick. Depending on how the clay is created would determine the type of building material it is. To create building material, the clay was either fired or sun-dried. Clay is used industrially and is important to the production of tile for wall and floor coverings. Porcelain, china, and earthenware tiles could not be made without clay. Clay is also used for filtering and deodorizing components in the oil industry. Clay is used for construction as well. Clay can create fillers, sizings, and dresses in construction. Clay also has recreational use. One of the most common uses of clay is ceramics or modeling clay used to create sculptures and art. Clay minerals can also be used in gardening to improve soil. Modeling clay or clay can be used in certain professions such as occupational therapy to help strengthen fine motor skills of those who need to improve them. Clay can also be used for fun. There are differences between clay, pottery, and art in the past and now. One of the most significant changes are the uses of these materials. Clay today is used for a variety of things, including treatment for aches and pains, diarrhea, infections, mineral deficiencies, and food poisoning. Clay is also used as pharmaceutical formulations, oral laxatives, cosmetics, and beauty treatment. Learning about how clay, pottery, and art has changed throughout time has shown me the history of them because I understand that these arts had specific meanings in history. The information is relevant to me because it shows me how we have advanced artistically and can create different types of art now.